Today, you woke up, checked your phone, swallowed whatever food was available, will do mediocre work, return home, and, without even realizing it, you'll already be watching pornography again, like a zombie. Do you think this is just a harmless habit? You're programming yourself to be a slave to your instincts. Imagine a soldier on the battlefield who doesn't question his orders, just acts automatically. He moves without thinking, without strategy, without awareness of what he's doing. What happens to him? He dies. It's that simple. Musonius Rufus, one of the greatest Stoics in history, already warned us about this. The weak man acts out of habit, not reason. He seeks pleasure and flees pain like a rat, following the scent of cheese without knowing it's a trap. Is that what you want to be? A rat? Every man is born with a fire within him, a desire for conquest, respect, mastery over his own life. But this fire dies when you surrender yourself to the comfort of automatic repetitions. The enemy isn't just the outside world. The real enemy is this mental laziness that turns you into a slave of destructive habits. If you have the courage to hear what needs to be said, follow me. Because what I'm about to tell you now could change everything. There was a young warrior in ancient Rome. His name was Aurelius. Strong, agile, fearless, but still undisciplined. He dreamed of glory on the battlefield, but his days were filled with small pleasures, wine, easy women, and the comfort of taverns. His mentors saw potential in him, but also weakness. One day, a veteran soldier called him for a conversation. They sat next to a forge, where a blacksmith crafted swords for the legion. The old soldier took an iron chain and placed it over Aurelius's shoulder. "Try to break it," he ordered. Aurelius laughed, and with a quick movement, he snapped the chain. The veteran said nothing. He took another chain, but this time wrapped it around once more. "How about now?" The young man pulled with force. The chain resisted, but eventually broke. The veteran repeated the ritual, adding another loop, and then another. Eventually, no matter how much Aurelius struggled, the chain no longer broke. He was trapped. "What happened?" Aurelius asked, sweating. "The same chain you broke easily now imprisons you. But you didn't notice when it happened." The old warrior stood up. Addiction works the same way. At first, it seems weak, easy to break, but over time, it traps you. You think you're in control, until you realize you're not. Aurelius remained silent. He understood. But do you? Write down in the comments, what's your chain? Now forget ancient Rome. Come back to your reality. How many times have you told yourself, it's just a habit, I can stop whenever I want? But then you're tired, stressed, and your body moves on its own. You grab your phone, open that website, and before you realize it, it's already happened. In the beginning, it was a thin chain, something that seemed harmless. But now, it's become part of your routine, something that controls you. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus spoke about this more than 2,000 years ago. The weak man acts by habit, not reason. He seeks immediate pleasure and flees discomfort like a rat following the scent of cheese. But that cheese leads directly into a trap, and pornography is exactly that trap. The problem isn't just moral. It's not about right or wrong. It's about control. You think you're free, but you're trapped. And worse, every time you give in to this habit, you're training your brain to be weak. Pornography brutally tricks your brain because it activates one of man's most primitive instincts, the desire to dominate. When you watch that video, your brain believes you're at the top of the food chain. That surge of dopamine gives you a fleeting feeling of power, of conquest. But the truth? You're weaker than ever. While you're alone, consuming these images, the real world continues spinning. Other men are training, working, evolving, while you're wasting your energy on emptiness. Every time you choose this easy escape, you're saying, I prefer illusion over reality. The reality is that you want respect, you want presence. You want people to look at you and sense that you're someone who commands himself. But how can anyone respect you if you can't even respect yourself? Think of a gladiator. Do you think he'd have time for pornography? For cheap pleasures? No. He was training. Fighting meant life or death. And guess what? Your life is also a fight. Every choice you make brings you closer to victory or defeat. Stoicism isn't about repressing your instincts. It's about mastering them. And for that, you need to subscribe to the channel and keep devouring every video. Only then will you internalize true stoicism and change your behavior. That will become a positive habit in your life. If you're ready to hear what needs to be said, follow along. Forget ancient Rome now. Return to your reality. Here's what you need to do. Recognize your trap. There's a rat who follows the scent of cheese thinking he's gaining something, but the next moment, crack, he's trapped. Now think about yourself. Every time you feel the urge to repeat the automatic habit, your mind deceives you with the same logic. Just one more time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a lie. Retrain your mind and resist. Does the desire come? Good. Let it come. But this time you won't give in. Do you know what happens when you resist? Your brain realizes it no longer controls you. It begs, pleads, but you stay firm. This is training. Your brain realizes it no longer commands you. It begs, it pleads, but you stay strong. Replace old habits with growth. Every time you feel the urge to return to the old habit, do something that strengthens you. Exercise. Read. Work on a project. The pleasure from real progress is infinitely stronger than any cheap stimulation. But most men lack the patience to wait for that pleasure. Surround yourself with strength. How do you spend your time? What do you consume? If your time is filled with distractions, easy pleasures, and empty conversations, what do you think you'll become? You'll be the average of the environment you've chosen. A warrior trains among other warriors. He doesn't surround himself with distractions. True victory is internal. You can make excuses. You can pretend everything is fine. But the mirror doesn't lie. True respect comes when you look into your own eyes and know you haven't betrayed yourself. That when nobody was watching, you did what was right. The victory that matters isn't over others. It's about mastering yourself. The Stoics understood over 2,000 years ago that neither other men, nor women, nor fate respects a weak man. Either you take control of your mind and become the master of your own life, or you keep living automatically, a hostage to your impulses, while other men take what could have been yours. Read this quote from Musonius Rufus. So, in the majority of other things, we address circumstances not in accordance with the right assumptions, but mostly by following wretched habit. Since all that I've said is the case, the person in training must seek to rise above, so as to stop seeking out pleasure and steering away from pain, to stop clinging to living and abhorring death, and in the case of property and money, to stop valuing receiving over giving. Musonius Rufus, Lectures, 625, 5:11. Read that again. The weak man seeks comfort. The strong man seeks self-mastery. Now look at your life. Where are you running on autopilot? At what moments of your day do you behave like a zombie, repeating habits that only weaken you further? Every choice is a strike upon the sword of your masculinity. Either you're sharpening it, or you're weakening it with each decision. Each choice matters. And addiction is exactly that. Every repetition of a bad habit is another link in your chain. You don't want to be chained. The world doesn't give respect freely. It respects men who demonstrate control. Today, you have two options. Continue repeating the same patterns or decide that enough is enough. Look in the mirror and answer. Who's really in control?